Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Tommy Wave budget deck series, the final one in our Witchwood budget deck series. Before we go through anything, as always, we'll go through the criteria for our budget deck series. We don't set any arbitrary dust limit for this. Instead, what we want to focus on is the core of a well-performing deck, a high-tier ladder deck or tournament deck. And we're going to focus on the core of that deck, and usually it consists of about 4 to 6 rares, but we want to give you a good upgrade path to get to that deck. If you like the style, you like the core, and you want to invest a bit more dust into the deck, then we're going to give you the ability to do that. The last part there is prioritizing cards that aren't rotating. It's not so relevant in Witchwood because a lot of these cards are going to be around for quite a while, but we do want to always be keeping that in the back of our mind, that we want our dust to last for a long time, go long and strong, and if we need any tiebreakers, we'll probably use that to tiebreak on card selection. So we'll jump over to the decks that I've got here. Firstly, I just wanted to go through our last budget Warlock deck. We are doing Warlock today. We did Demon Zoolock last time. It was actually a really fun deck to play. Warlock is one of the most powerful budget decks that you can play because the hero power is so good, and they have access to a lot of very well statted minions that make for a great aggressive deck. The idea behind the Demon Zoolock is we focused on cards like Demon Fire, or in the proper version you'd use the 3-mana potion that was like a super Demon Fire. But it's very aggressive, low to the ground, lots of 1-drops. Interesting that we didn't have Firefly in this deck. Lots of 1-drops, follow up with some nice beefy 2-drops. Cards like Crystal Weaver get a buff up a good portion of our minions as well. Darkshire Councilman being an extremely hard to remove threat because it had so much health. And then the end game was cards like Despicable Dreadlord and Fungalmancer to take advantage of our usually wide board and also to deny our opponents. And we have Reach in Doomguard and Soulfire. So we have lost a couple of those cards, but the idea remains the same. We're going to be doing some zooing today. So let's take a look at some of those good Zoo Warlock decks that are out there on the ladder. So you'll see here a lot of the same kind of stuff, that like lots of options for 1-drops. 2-drops, we've just got Caliseth to buff up the almost entirety of our deck. This deck has so many minions in it that Caliseth is really almost at its best here. In fact, if you look, the only spells, the only things that Caliseth doesn't hit in this deck are the 2 Soulfires and the Gul'dan, but you know, Gul'dan's good enough. He doesn't need +1/+1. Beyond that, we've got Tar Creeper, Vicious Fledgling. So this is a good tandem here because Tar Creeper is great at protecting your more brittle threats, like your 1 toughness 1-drops, like Glacial Shard or even Flame Imp, with so many odd rogues around. And Vicious Fledgling itself is kind of a brittle threat for a 3-drop. Dark Iron Dwarf's been popping up quite a lot, and I'm really happy to see that. A nice big body, pretty hard to trade into, and also if you do have some presence on the board, allows you to trade a bit better or just push some more face damage. Chain Gang to go wide with, also the taunts to help with our brittle threats. And that same kind of late game with the Dreadlords, Doomguards, Fungalmancers, Gul'dan at the end to hopefully bring back some Doomguards or whatnot. A little bit of extra reach, and you get that hero power, which can also do that. The other version of Zoolock that I found was essentially the same thing, except rather than play the Gul'dan, this deck makes room for 2 Sea Giants. So rather than saying that you know, the deck wants to play the late game, or rather doesn't want to play the late game, rather it has an option in the late game with Gul'dan, this deck forgoes that, instead tries to capitalize on that kind of that's like turn 3, 4, 5, with some more Sea Giants, just a huge threat, and can be quite good in aggressive mirrors, particularly if your opponent's trying to swarm. You can slam this huge threat, and they have to do something about that, because you'll probably be able to race them a bit harder than they can. So those are the two main versions of Zoo Warlock that I found. So we'll kind of look at the core cards of the deck. As you can see, a lot of those lists are already pretty budget. So if you've got the dust or you've got the cards, go ahead and craft some of those. If not, let's take a look at this. So we've got the best of the 1-drops here, the Firefly, the Flame Imp, and the Kobold Librarian. Particularly right now, with so many decks trying to battle for board control, we really do need cards like Firefly to just give us a multitude of pieces that we can trade off. Got the Direwolf Alpha and the Vulgar Homunculus at 2, because we can't play Kaliseth, and these are probably our two best 2-drops, both in that like Vulgar Homunculus giving another tool to make trading a little bit awkward, and Direwolf giving us another brittle threat. But this also takes advantage of our board going a little bit wide and us playing a bunch of 1-drops trading into things. Direwolf is great. And then we've got that triumvirate of Dreadlord, Doomguard, and Fungalmancer at 5. A really, really powerful package there. So we'll see what I came up with. This budget Zoo Warlock. Filled out the 1-drop slots. We got the Soulfires in there. We could probably have included an extra 1 or 2 1-drops. If you feel like that is something you want to do, I wouldn't fault you for it. Things like Akros Veteran or Glacial Shard being the best options. At 3-drop, I've chosen to include Duskbat and Tark Reaper. Duskbat being one of the newer additions from Witchwood. It's a 3-drop 2/4, which is not the greatest stats, but if our hero took damage this turn, summons 2 1/1 bats. So that's going to help us go wide for our Direwolf Alpha and our Fungalmancer. And we can combine it with Vulgar Homunculus or Kobold Librarian on turn 4 or 5 respectively, or our hero power, to get those bats going on. So it is a 3-drop, but it's more like a 4 or 5-drop. Moving on from there, we do have the Dark Iron Dwarves. I've chosen Chain Gang as the 3rd rare in here over the Vicious Fledgling, and that's mostly because of Even Warlock. Even Warlock is one of the best decks out there, and one of my favorite decks at the moment. And I think that you'll get more value out of crafting a Saronite Chain Gang than you will a Vicious Fledgling, as Chain Gang can go into Even Warlock or a bunch of different decks. But if you feel more comfortable with the Vicious Fledgling, or you've already got them, feel free to sub the Fledgling in for the Duskbats or these Chain Gangs. 2 Spellbreakers as the flex. We really need these to push through opposing taunts and silence some key targets. And then that late game there. Nothing beyond these guys here. Though if you really wanted to include some more reach, you could include something like the Reckless Rocketeer or the Cobalt Scalebane. Those would be some nice options, but this is what we're going to run with today. I'm going to take it through a couple of games, and hopefully we do. Alright. First game here up against the Shaman.
Your soul shall be mine.
So all we want to do is look to curve. And given that we have a whole bunch of 5 and 4 drops, we're really happy to send these back just to help try and find some more gas in that early game. Either some more 1-drops or some more or a 3-drop would be really good. Kobold Librarian's really fantastic here. This is going to help us dig towards some of those 4 and 5 drops. Our opponent not on Even Shaman, so this could be some kind of Shutterwalk variant, some kind of control Shaman. So try and put the foot down early with going for Flame Imp over Kobold Librarian. Just a totem on 2. So I guess the key thing here is we don't want to run into Lightning Storm too hard. So what we might do is go Kobold Librarian Voidwalker. I'm actually going to trade for this totem here. Just so if they do have the Lightning Storm, it's at least 50-50 that the Voidwalker survives. Farsight, okay. So I believe Farsight's in a lot of the Shudderwock decks. The other card we need to be careful of is Volcano. So I think we'll deploy the Tar Creeper here. And look to coin out this one of these 5s next turn.
How long can this go on? How long can this...
It's definitely going to be one of the harder matchups. Like, I guess we just kind of have to run into a Volcano here.
Mushroom power!
We have the option to trade here. If we trade, it's better against Lightning Storm. If we just bump this, it's a lot worse against Lightning Storm. But and if they have Volcano, it's irrelevant, but we do get an extra damage in. If they do Volcano, we can recover with a Hero Power Duskbat. Yep.
Job's done.
The other good part about Hero Powering there is it's hopefully going to dig us closer to hitting some Doom Guards.
Let the pain speak to me.
Let the pain speak to me. So pretty happy to get Tar Creeper down here. Then Direwolf Alpha. I'm going to play a Firefly on the inside of this Direwolf. Unfortunately, this doesn't put over 15 toughness worth of creatures into play, unless they let a Volcano rip before trading with this Acolyte thing. Okay, Sulfire is pretty good. I think we'll go with a Silence on the Acolyte. Flame it? And hopefully them being a little bit crimped on mana. No kill on Acolyte of Pain. If we're gonna silence it, I think I'm okay with not killing it. Or were you asking why he didn't attack that Acolyte of Pain into the Tar Creeper? Sounds fine, because of Volcano. They've already played one Volcano, and if they want to play the second one before trading with the Acolyte of Pain, it means they have the potential to not kill our entire board, because there's 18 toughness in play. Issue is next turn, Hagatha or Shudderwock can come down.
So many possibilities.
So many possibilities, indeed. So I think we'll Hero Power. Get one of these guys down. Flame Alley. Alright, so let's see what they can muster up here. We're pretty close. We don't want to see like Zola. Yeah, Zola Life Drinker. Anything on 2 or just a totem? Glacial Shard. Ooh. That's pretty good. Doomguard? Never Doomguard. So if we tap, what can we get for lethal? We've got 4 on board is 8. Another 4 is with Soulfire. So the other Soulfire or Doomguard would be lethal. So if we Soulfire first, then tap. Duskbat.
Unleash me. Why do you call?
Is this really necessary?
I'm almost out of time.
I'm just gonna get this thing dead. That was rough. Also, putting ourselves on 8 is, as always, super risky. Not taunt. Ugh. Mana Tide 2. Rough. There's a Spellbreaker. Alright. So all they need is the other. No, they've played both Life Drinkers. They've played 3. Lightning Storm? If they miss the 50-50 on this. Agatha. Yeah, that 5 armor is the real deal. We'll Soulfire now, in case we do draw the Doomguard.
Let the pain speak to me.
They played both Volcanoes, right? No. No, they did. Hmm. Do they play Lightning Bolt? Like, surely they don't play Lightning Bolt. They don't play the Firewing Phoenix if they're Shutterwalk either, so pretty safe to tap, yeah. Ugh. That was pretty bad. Unfortunately, we're both Soulfires down, so I would say if they can answer this and produce a taunt. Oh, the healing rain. Yep. Alright. This one's done. I think our only out there is to like draw the Doomguard the very next turn and hope that they can't do anything about it and they don't have Shutterwalk or anything like that. So that was an unfortunate one, but I think we played to our outs and tried to play around what we could, but it's a bit of a rough matchup. But all right, Warlock Mirror. So make the Spellbreaker. I'll keep this Tar Creeper, so we don't have a lot of threes. Yeah, it's true. We couldn't give the Shutterwalk deck much time. We really need to pressure them to have to answer our threats. Now, this is a tough one. They're not even Warlock. So what are you? Because we don't want to play our Kobold Librarian into a deck that plays Mortal Coil if we can. I'll just play the Flame Imp. However, if we could discern that they're not on Mortal Coil, no for R2. This is like it's like Q block, I believe. Voidwalk is a good draw. So that might tell us that they don't have Defile here, because that was a pretty, maybe a half reasonable Defile. Okay. No Hellfire either. PU. You stink. We coin out a Fungalmancer here. Like, if they don't have Hellfire, like, we're in a pretty juicy spot.
I wonder. Mushroom power!
But we'll hedge that if they do have Hellfire, at least we get to keep our Direwolf Alpha. Spellstone, okay. Dreadlord, just keep our bodies nice and big. We'll try and trade in Doomguard early. That's an interesting idea. I usually don't go for Doomguards early, especially like in this situation where we really like we can try and narrow down like, oh, maybe they don't have some cheap sweepers, but like, you know, Spellstone, Nosferatu, we can't exactly tell that they have those. Luckily, if this was a fully charged Spellstone, would have ruined our Doomguard points. They're both Spellstones. Luckily, this is kind of awkward. One, two, three, 8, 9, 10. So, yeah. So, pretty good position here. Lethal with the Doomguard, lethal with both Soulfires. Keep our Dark Iron Dwarf after this to file. Oh, that's just in the deck. That's pretty cool. Sweet. Who dares summon me? Got him. It was just to play around Hellfire to file. Yeah. I think we just have to go with the thought that, yeah, they're only going to have it if they top deck it, or if they're playing like way too conservatively. But we got there. All right, up against another Shaman.
Your soul shall be mine.
I think we're happy to keep one Vulgar Homunculus. We have 2, 4, 6. We have 8 1-drops that we want to play, but we do get 3 shots at it. Whereas we only have 4 2-drops. Yeah. Kind of punished there. Not having a 1-drop in this kind of deck, especially with like, you know, Direwolf to follow up and stuff, means we have to get a very like specific kind of game going on to do well. So interesting, the last like week or so, all I've been playing against Shaman wise is even Shaman. And the last day or two, it's just been all Shadowwalk and Shadowwalk and a couple elemental shamans. So, pretty slow hand, unfortunately. There's the far side. Queen Glacial Shard. Queen Lightning Bolt. Okay. Ah, that is a good draw. Where do we want to put this? We probably want to put it on land.
Job done.
surely this has to provoke a lightning storm if they have it. And it's not even a very good one, because it's not going to get either the Tar Creeper or this Dust Bat.
Truth is found in death.
Okay, this is not... This is not what I was expecting. If we put a Dreadlord into play, they don't get a full Volcano, but is a Kaliseth deck playing Volcano?
I wonder.
I would guess not. Shaman decks containing Prince Kaliseth and is it Farsight? Oh yeah, there's some Shadowwalk decks with Kaliseth and Volcano. Ooh. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some more toughness on the board. Tap Blast, because you know we're very good at this game. From what you've seen, Kaliseth is in them. Yeah, I actually I've been hitting so many Shadowwalk Shamans, but I haven't seen any Kaliseths. Maybe they didn't draw them. Maybe it was a different variation. It's an interesting inclusion for a deck that contains so many non-minions. Just it's weird because I saw a couple of versions that had Hemet as well, but yet I haven't seen anyone play Hemet. Hemet, the guy that destroys all the cards in your deck that cost 3 or less. I think the idea being that, you know, you're going to blow up like 2/3 of your deck, or like half of your deck. And if your entire game plan is about hitting Shadowwalk, then, you know, you're going to hit it.
Engaging TC
I mean, that's not the worst one. That's really bad. So we silence this Tar Creeper. Probably.
Your magic shall not save you.
Almost out of time. As you command, your soul is mine.
So we're one off being able to go for like Soulfire Doomguard. lethal, I think. Oh, we need an extra spot on board as well. Even with the MC tech, it's going to be pretty tough. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 18, 23 minus 3 is 20. So if they trade in Volcano, they can't even trade and get rid of this Tar Creeper. So if they Volcano here, we still get 6 total toughness. I guess if they were going to play MC Tech, surely they would have done it first in case they could steal the Direwolf Falcon. Pretty good. So this is hit here, so 4, 5, 9. Ooh. So, got our revenge on Shuttlewalk Shaman there. They, I guess they didn't really have a lot of interaction early on for us, unlike the first one though. They had some interesting stuff with that MC tech. So, let's take a look at the budget Zoo Warlock. I was pretty happy with the performance. The only thing that really concerned me before jumping in was the curve is really weird. You know, usually if we look at this curve, usually we want it to be, you know, like, oh, hold on, which direction? So we're coming from up here. We want it to go like that. When a lot of 1 drops, a little bit less 2 drops, a little bit less 3 drops, a little bit less 4, a little bit less 5. But this kind of has a bit of a lack of 2 and 3 drops. So that's what I was concerned about, but turns out that the package of Dreadlord, Doomguard, and Fungal is really strong, and a lot of these 4 drops really pulled their weight, particularly Spellbreakers. I think 2 Spellbreakers could almost be considered core here, but we always put Spellbreaker in the flex slot. Maybe we could switch one of the Spellbreakers for an Iron Beak Owl. Maybe that works better. Who knows? Have an experiment with it yourself. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, all the links will be down in the description to the Hearthpone article. You got the deck code down there, as well as all of my my links. You can hit me up on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. Otherwise, you can hit me up on YouTube right here, or on Hearthpone. And that's it for the Witchwood budget deck series. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, go check them out. They're all in a playlist on YouTube. And let me know what you want to see next. We got plenty of time until the next expansion. I've got a couple of ideas, but if there's anything you want to see, let me know. And other than that, until next time, I'll see you soon. Have a good one.